It's live
We are live
and in color.
for now. Till the budget cuts.
Oh, they're coming. Trust me.
Network's
They
not
are
enough.
coming. Yeah, we're one racist tweet away from getting canceled.
Oh,
Too soon?
how did I not think about that earlier today? That's just too good.
Oh, it's both good and like, terrible. Would you say deplorable?
The audacity of some people in this
The
country.
audacity. Well, we'll intro the show and then we'll cut back to that one. So, okay, here we go. Welcome to Open Caller for this week. I am Corey Bullis. Moving up to the big boy chair and filling in for co-host is Ryan Karkner.
Ready to take this on.
Take a bow. Our regular person of color, Vishal Sheth, is off this week. He's got more important things to do and balls to spike at volleyball.
Good luck, Fee. We're rooting for you.
Godspeed.
Godspeed.
But yeah, as we were just discussing before we went live here is Roseanne.
So, who knew a comedian would have, the same kind of, outdated beliefs and values that would kind of carry over to 20, 25 years later? And that would bite her in the ass. Who knew?
Right?
Who saw that coming?
Everybody.
I think everybody did. I'm
Oh,
just
there was-
surprised they were so quick to cancel it. Well, not
Yeah,
really,
I think that's the part that's I think getting the most news now, not so much the tweet or comment, because we're all at this point I think immune to comments like that from one presidential person in the US. So I think it was just a company that's saying, hey, we don't want your money.
like that show was doing well. It's not like it was bombing and this was like a nice excuse to get rid of it. It was
Right,
taking off.
yeah. I think they said was the highest rated show of the year. Like even topping This Is Us and The Big Bang Theory.
This Is Us. Yeah. You know what? She really blew that one. That's unfortunate. And I don't think there's really another. I think that was her kind of golden goose. Like
Yeah.
what else are you gonna do? So that
she
became
had her chances.
That became a really expensive tweet.
Oh, of 100%. And a good endorsement for Ambien.
Very good endorsement for Ambien.
Like I've heard conflicting stories. I've heard like I was listening to Joe Rogan's podcast today, and he was talking to a buddy who can, again, not to defend anything by saying that Ambien makes you a racist, but people have said, and their tweets are coming out of weird episodes while taking that drug, like doing things like he said a buddy of his took it, fell asleep, was told that he, I guess, got up, made a meal, ate it, cleaned up, went back to bed, and the next morning completely oblivious that he did all that, but he didn't get on Twitter.
So it's like a quote unquote blackout type situation.
Sure, you're one to know about blackouts, Ryan.
I mean, I've had a few in my day. I think you would know ahead of time that's like, I don't think it was her first time taking Ambien. Pretty sure,
No.
right? So she would know what to relatively expect, and maybe just to, proactively stay away from the media outlets that could, potentially ruin your career and your money outlet.
And from what I heard, Joe Rogan will be giving her a platform on his show for tomorrow. So I'm sure people will be tuning into her podcasting, listening to that one.
I'm very curious to see the attempt at redemption here. It's going to be a pretty uphill battle.
Well, I don't know if at this point she's really concerned about redemption, and she's just more of passing the blame now.
Oh, what else can you do? You have to.
Yeah, well, it started off where she was just like, don't like this is indefensible. Don't defend me. Like I take full responsibility, and now it's push back. Not my fault.
Yeah. Well, once you see the actual repercussions of it, it's amazing how the blame kind of shifts to something else.
Probably, the previous tweets and statements and all that stuff for the past several months got away with it scot-free, and just, poked the bear one too many times.
What can you do? Are you talking about John Goodman or a different kind of bear?
No, not the Goodman. No, not the Goodman. Disney, yeah. Mickey. Poked Mickey one too many times. The mouse, I should have said. Poked the mouse too many times. The House of Mouse.
That's what happens.
But speaking of too many times, Cleveland, Golden State, number 4.
How much time do I got?
Let me see. It's 10-8 now. I'll cut you off if you go too far. So I don't know.
Right.
Bad for the league. I think personally, I'm. This is ridiculous.
4's enough. I think if you ask anybody, hey, want to watch the same movie, series, show, relationship, whatever, 4 times, I think you'd usually have had enough by 2.
So do you want to watch Ross and Rachel play out again on Friends? Because that's what this is.
I think there's exceptions for Ross and Rachel. But for a general rule, it's people will ask me do you think, what's the series going to be at? Well, there's really no reason for me to think different than the last year. Only difference kind of being potentially might not have Kevin Love, potentially might not have, definitely won't have Kyrie Irving like they did last year. Mm-hmm. So I think it's going to be another 4-1, 4-0 type ordeal for Golden State. And it's just frustrating to watch a league that I'm kind of getting into and have it lack the parity that it does. I don't want to watch the same final every year for the rest of my life. It's I was kind of looking forward for Boston to get in and maybe Houston. But here we are again.
Now, you think what's bad is the structure of how they do league, the league not stepping in to avoid super teams, or just that we're living in an age where it's dominated by like future Hall of Famers, the legend ballers?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of LeBron just being superhuman and just being able to get to a finals with him and him alone. Mm-hmm. And of course, you've got kind of like a super dynasty in Golden State that is, especially in a league like basketball, where it's not like football where you've got like too many people, both sides of the ball kind of thing. Yeah, you're looking at like 5 guys on the court, and like maybe like a bench of like 6 or 7, I think, right? Like maybe like 13 guys you have signed on. So I think with that in mind, if like 3 out of your 13 players are Hall of Famers, then you're probably going to make a final every year. You're probably going to win multiple championships, and it gets it gets boring after a while. I'm not really looking forward to watching the series. I mean, I still will probably and watch a little bit of it, but I'm not really expecting to be wowed the same way, Vegas, Washington's wowing me.
Yeah, no, it's been a good back and forth, that one, which is surprising the way, Vegas has handled everybody so far.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if we want to get into this yet, but I think Vegas, I don't know if Vegas winning the cup would be necessarily good for the league. I don't know what that would mean in terms of how teams would manage themselves after watching, the island of misfit toys win the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, I think if they do win, what you're going to see is a shift in culture for for how teams handle their rosters going forward, how they scout, how they draft, and
a different meta, so to speak.
Yeah.
And who knows, maybe that's what the NHL needs. Maybe less, kind of the opposite of NBA, maybe less superstar oriented, pay this guy 11, 12 mil and try to actually build teams based on whatever the hell Vegas did. I can't even put it into, it's just Vegas is fast. They're a fast team.
Mm-hmm.
How does that come about?
Yeah, I don't know. I'll be honest with you. It's I think what you're getting is just a lot of guys that believe in what's going on down there. You got a lot of these players you're looking at is like they're not all like fourth line guys that how expansion drafts used to go, right? So these are guys who are
No, it was done like a little different, which
yes,
again leads me to believe that Vegas kind of got maybe a little boost other cities wouldn't have gotten had it been them. Like say if it was, Hamilton getting a team or Quebec City or whatever, even Seattle, let's say, I don't know if they would get the same treatment. I think Vegas, because of the market and how long they took to kind of, put that idea into fruition, maybe they were given a little something, a little, positive push to say, hey, because, this is a market that we want to succeed, we're going to do it this way as opposed to the other way because we've seen it not fail, but like yield poor results within the first couple of years.
See, my issue really is like when because it looks like Seattle's going to come in here. Likely a vote coming in late summer, early fall is that either they don't change the rules and we have a spot where now the 32nd team comes in and embarrasses the other 30 teams that were around before, or they change the rules and we get back to a situation where a team just spent almost $1 billion to get into the league and they're now, a lottery team.
Yeah.
So I think it's a double-edged sword.
Be interesting to see.
Yeah, it is. Like the league will probably like it because it shows that we can go to any market and it'll thrive like it's doing down there. But I think it's kind of it's embarrassing for teams and clubs that have started rebuilds or have had the same roster for the last couple of years and like they shit the bed and then they're going for like look at Buffalo. Like no matter what they seem to do, it's not working and they lose a mediocre player that goes to Vegas and they're playing for a cup.
Yeah, and same with clubs like Edmonton who have had number one draft picks out the yin yang and have hit mediocre to bust worthy picks with the exception of McDavid, and just can't seem to figure it out.
Yeah. No,
so
for sure.
I think if Vegas wins, I actually think even if Vegas loses this, I think it's going to be studied under a microscope for quite some time and figure out how this came about. What did they do right?
I think they had over a year to scout players, and and then also from that you get a list from the teams that show who's untouchable and who you can pick from, and I think the side deals helped a lot too.
Oh yeah, I mean it's Vegas. They know how to negotiate.
Yeah,
they know how to stack the deck.
Like to get a goalie like Fleury. Like again, Pittsburgh kind of forced Vegas's hand to take him. Like we want you to take this, so we'll do this, and this to make sure you take him, and it worked out well.
Very well.
But one other thing I was thinking of, because I've heard this come up a lot, is does a situation where you have two American teams with no chance of a Canadian team winning a Stanley Cup, does having one of those two teams be filled with Canadians make that the de facto Canadian team, or is that just people grasping at trying to find a reason to watch?
Yeah, I think that's people grasping at straws. I mean, it's good to cheer for Canadian players, and you're certainly going to root for those teams. But to try to convince yourself it's like a Canadian organization or to find some sort of patriotism behind it, I think is a little far-fetched. At the end of the day, it's an American team with, an American front office.
Yeah, American fan base.
American fan base, American owners for the most part. I mean, yeah, you can, once, the Canadian teams are out, I think it's the next best thing. I think you can find a valid excuse in cheering for an American team and say, this is the de facto Canadian team I want to cheer for.
Yeah.
But to label it as such and kind of validate it in that way is, a little bit far-fetched for me.
And for me, I want to see Ovi get a cup, and not just so he's off the list of great players to never win, but for the fact that this guy like this year alone, like he's completely changed the way he plays the game. Like he's the leader of that team. He's taken less ice time to ensure that they're going to win. But like this guy, when like his teammates score, he's the guy who's cheering like the
Over the
loudest.
moon.
He's like a kid playing pickup hockey, right? Like just pump for everybody.
Really
Like,
wants it.
That's the person you want to win.
Absolutely.
Not like the
and it's overdue.
Yeah, for sure. Like it's not like the Marian Hossa that'll jump from team to team to make sure he secures the title.
Yeah.
Or a Golden State that just conspires to have people, or even Miami Heat conspires to have people come over and
build super teams and
exactly
try to buy their way to a championship, basically.
For sure. But we talked about this earlier, but if you want to switch back to basketball, Brian Colangelo's burner Twitter account.
Yeah, so I heard about that. I think it was this morning I heard about that. That's something else. And what's interesting to me,
running 5 fake accounts to rip on other teams.
Oh, like Philadelphia, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or something like that. I just don't like. I don't quite understand the why, because I don't know what kind of inside information you're getting with just a backup Twitter account, like a burner Twitter account, that you can't just get through regular media outlets. I can see the, behind the scenes bashing of his players and getting away with that, but that just seems like
or talking up his fashion sense.
Mm-hmm.
Those big collars that he wears on those shirts.
Yeah, so I don't know. Like maybe there's an element to it that I'm missing, that maybe me not being a general manager of a sports franchise, I won't understand. I just don't see the benefit of even doing that. And maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, to me, it's almost like back in like middle school, or we'll still say middle school, like calling like the girl you had interest in and asking if you like me. Like, oh, do you like this guy?
Yeah, my friend's asking.
Yeah, exactly. It's something like that. Like, so he's like going on Twitter and showing this out, showing that out, and then it's
But I think even then, like at least doing that, it yields some sort of positive results. Otherwise, unachievable, unless you want to ask the girl yourself and kind of risk looking foolish. Let's say you're trying to gain information without the negative drawbacks. I just don't see in this particular scenario where you're getting this extra pertinent information from by having Philadelphia 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as opposed to your regular Twitter account.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know either.
And then again, this is a guy getting paid what?
Yeah,
like millions of dollars to do these sort of things.
It's like looking at, like, if you were to look at your girlfriend's phone, because you're trying to gain information otherwise unattainable by traditional standards, and the risk is if you get caught, then she throws a whiskey bottle at you. At least there's a risk versus reward balance there that I can comprehend. I don't comprehend it in this scenario.
But I'm curious as to why you went whiskey.
It's always whiskey, Core. It's always been whiskey.
It's not a vodka bottle. It's not scotch.
I know the shape. I still have the marks.
This scar right above my eye.
I'm like the Harry Potter of Jack Daniels.
Oh, you're a wizard, Harry.
But yeah, I don't quite get it, and I think he resigns. Well, not resigns or gets let go or whatever. There's got to be some sort of recourse for that.
Oh yeah, 100%. He's for sure not going to be employed for very much longer.
Especially because the 76ers were known as the process. Trust the process. And for somebody who is boasting trust the process and telling his players, hang on, good is coming, all that, and then the players find this crap out, it's hard to trust in the process at that point. I think the process is universally flawed, especially when you find out he's like bashing his own players, doing all this crap.
Yeah, I don't know how you get away with bashing your players or talk about how maybe people should be traded, or talk down against opposing GMs that used to be under your employ.
Why risk that? Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, I think he's gone. Maybe it's for the best. Maybe it's not going to be the process anymore. Maybe it's going to be, let's get ourselves to an East final. Stop BSing around. Give something Ben Simmons to work with. Yada, yada, yada. LeBron.
Just get LeBron in there. I know. So it's Philly or the Knicks. You think it's going to be Philly?
Out of those two, I would say Philly. I don't think he's going to play for the Knicks. The owner is an idiot, and they just don't have a team that's ready to win anything. He'd be better off staying in Cleveland, in my mind.
Yeah, well, is it really a trade up from the roster that he currently has now? It's the Knicks, right?
Yeah, I think it's a lateral move. I think you're getting still a crappy owner, and you're getting a roster full of nobodies. Except you're in New York instead of so I take that back. It would be a better move because you're not in Ohio anymore.
Fair enough.
That's the only upside I see to it is you live in New York, and LeBron's a focus guy. He doesn't want the distractions of the Big Apple.
So serious.
He doesn't want that. Philly. I think Philly. If I had to pick somewhere in the West, probably Houston. I think Houston could use him.
Well, it's funny because there was word coming around that Chris Paul's already talked to him, trying to wheel and deal and get him to come down here.
Well, he's got time. He's on an ACL tear?
Hamstring.
Is it hamstring? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
That's a tough one. Tough one to beat. I think Houston would be a good fit. Him, James Harden, Chris Paul. That's a team that could compete with Golden State.
And that would be the one chance the Raptors have
of winning the East
final. Yeah, that's right.
Exactly. It's a win-win for everybody.
Just imagine the battle of Houston and the Warriors in the West final. Whoever comes out is going to be banged up.
Oh, yeah. And then you've got Toronto who flew by the Pacers. And then Toronto would lose to whoever wins in the West, but,
Oh, yeah. But they got there. They finally got there.
That would be the important part.
Well, it's the only thing that matters at this point, right? Because what else do they have left to accomplish, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, beat LeBron. Any way, shape, or form, I think that supersedes winning a championship.
But at least this way, if LeBron goes to the West, at least you don't have to play. There's a chance that you don't have to play through LeBron. Whereas right now, I think you inevitably do.
Yeah. And even if they get the first seed again, and they end up LeBron or whatever team he ends up on 2 or 3, it's just you're delaying the inevitable. You got to face them.
Yep, pretty much. Is that all for LeBron?
Well, Michelle's not here to defend Michael Jordan, so
I did like that conversation as long as it did last.
Yeah, well, my 2 cents would be is we don't have this comparison in hockey because Wayne set records no one's ever going to beat.
Yeah, it's untouchable.
LeBron's knocking off MJ's records, like left, right, and center. So
yeah,
it's not. And then again, like as we said before, like the defense is, Michael only had Pippen, but LeBron's got no one.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I'm gonna get too riled up, but
easy Tiger.
Yeah, the Bulls was like more than Pippen. They had.
Oh yeah, they're for sure. They were. Everyone focuses on. And at the same time, Pippen's a Hall of Famer. Jordan's a Hall of Famer. Who is on Cleveland that's a Hall of Famer besides from
nobody? The closest person is Kevin, and then Irving probably is going to be a good player, and that's about it.
Yeah. So switching gears here, Solo fails at the box office.
I saw that. I saw it. That was really good.
Enjoyed it? Did you?
I did. It was better than what I thought it was going to be.
Are you I know we all know Star Wars, but are you like a Star Wars guy per se, or
I don't think I don't go to extensive reaches.
You're not at the cons.
I'm not at the cons, but I will go see a good Star Wars movie. I saw most of the Star Wars movies in theaters, including the old ones when they brought them back in the 90s for some reason. And then that streak broke when my dad went and saw, which one was it? The Force Awakens without me. And we don't.
You guys don't talk anymore, right?
Yeah. Where it's
in sync there.
If you ever want to, break a father-son bond. Pull that shit. But yeah, so I saw Solo. It was.
Did
good.
you go solo?
I did not. I actually went with my parents, with my mom and dad.
All right, we just established that you went to everyone except for the Force Awakens.
Yeah.
Which you brought up when you saw Solo. How
Exactly.
he broke your heart.
Yeah. And exactly. And yeah, no, it was good. It's like the little kind of prelude to how he becomes what he is, and everything sort of makes sense and all that kind of adds up. Some things they kind of rushed, like the meeting of Lando. I found that a little streamlined. Meeting Chewie, like a lot of it was like, it seems to like his whole personality, his whole backstory happens in the span of like 6 weeks, and I just don't see how that's possible. Like it was really kind of sped up, where he meets Chewie, sees the Falcon, meets Lando, decides he wants to be a gunslinger outlaw. It all just seems to happen, overnight. I wish I could do that.
Yeah, I think if anything was done in a 6-week span, life would be easier for most people.
Exactly. So yeah, there was that.
All that.
Yeah. So yeah, there was that. That was probably my main negative about the movie. Other than that, it was pretty good. It was fun. I enjoyed it. You get to see him do the Kessel Run. That's pretty cool.
In less than 12 parsecs?
In less than 12 parsecs.
Nice.
Yeah.
So they explain that parsecs is not time, it's a distance?
I don't think they explained it. I think they just end up implying it. And you kind of get it at that point.
Like, oh, right, they screwed up back then.
Yeah. Exactly.
So I did see someone tweet out, I guess, I don't know if someone has a copy of the original script or something, but it was like they said that Solo like retcons that to have it make sense. But if the script itself shows that, like when he makes that line, that like the stage direction to like Obi-Wan's character is to look at him like he's an idiot, like I know you're lying. So like it was never intended for it to be like an actual, wait a minute, he said something that doesn't make sense because this, like, that's how it was supposed to be. He's like, I know you're lying because this doesn't make sense. Not like that. They use the wrong word. Like, oh, parsec sounds cool. That's what we'll say. But it's a measure of time, not distance, or a measure of distance, not
time. Yeah.
Yeah. So like you screwed up back then you retconned it in, but you didn't have to, because if you just followed the script,
then you would have been fine.
Yeah. Nerds didn't do that and overanalyze.
Yeah, no, I think Star Wars is getting to the point where if you do kind of nitpick and look for the flaws in it, I think you're gonna find them. And
you can do it with almost anything.
Yeah, and they're just pumping out movies too quick now, where there's gonna be very, very minor details that get overlooked, and it's not gonna make sense, and it's not gonna be completely true to the original 3 and all that.
Oh yeah,
stuff.
you can just look at like the Marvel series now, like the opening scene of Spider-Man Homecoming with Michael Keaton's character. They do whatever, and then it says 8 years later. But if you take it in actual timeline, like the Battle of New York and the first Avengers to where they stand now, it's only actually 6 years.
Yeah, so exactly, little things like that,
Which again, they retcon in the new Avengers. Yeah. That's why saying it is 6 years, so it's like that never happened.
Yeah, that's what they do. They just fix it later, patch it.
Yeah, we'll fix it in post.
Exactly. But yeah, so is it getting a little too, and I remember bringing this up a couple of weeks ago with Marvel, is the Star Wars getting a little too oversaturated? Are they pumping up the movies too quick? When is it, the box office numbers kind of speak for themselves, because it was a relatively good movie, and there's really no reason why it should do that badly.
Well, I think some people are looking at it from everyone they've released so far. You had almost a year between.
Yeah.
This is the first time they went December and May. So what, 5 months?
Yeah.
Maybe it's a little quick. Soon. I personally think it's a matter of, why do we keep going backwards with the stories? Why can't we just keep progressing further? Like we did the original 3 movies, and then we went back and told 3. Came back with The Force Awakens, and then we went back to tell Rogue One, and then we went back for episode 8, and then we went back for Solo.
Again for Solo, and then
now they're going to go back for Boba Fett, and they'll go back for Obi-Wan.
Jar Jar.
Right. That's like a 9-part series right there.
9-part series, like just 10 movies about Jar Jar.
2 hours each. We're talking 20 hours worth of. It's the Jar Jar universe.
Yeah. Gets its own studio.
Jar Jar Pictures.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's not. That hurts. But yeah, I don't know. And you also make the argument that there's too much competition in the market with Deadpool and Avengers.
It's all Marvel. The only people that they hurt is really themselves. It's the whole. They own everything.
Yeah,
They
Disney
got
owns
it all
everything.
dialed. It's Disney. You're only competing with your own movies.
Or some of saying it's a backlash from what they did with Last Jedi.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people mad about that movie.
They didn't like the end. Ish.
Well,
For
they
multiple
also did
reasons.
like Luke giving up on being the hero, believing everything. He just becomes this old curmudgeon who milks these creatures for their blue milk.
God, yeah, that was weird. I don't know.
The best
enough.
part is that like he locks eyes with her when he drinks it, right? Like he milks the cup and he locks eyes with Rey and just.
I think that was more Mark Hamill being Mark Hamill. Like, I don't think that was Luke Skywalker. That was just Mark just screwing around, not giving a shit.
He probably didn't even. We're not filming this, right? That's between takes.
They
He's
couldn't
on a
get him to
bender or
keep on the
something.
script. Yeah,
He's off his meds.
classic.
Did you have a problem with Last Jedi? What we're talking about?
Not really beyond. I thought it was okay. Yeah, I didn't like kind of the way Luke was kind of
A hermit.
portrayed. Yeah, I think they should have gone a different, better direction. I wasn't a huge fan of Han dying. I think that was Harrison Ford also being a hermit, just not wanting to do that anymore.
That's Harrison Ford 101. Just cranky pants.
I just found it weird that around the time of the movie, Carrie Fisher dies, and it's like, oh wow! Instead of killing off Leia and making it all make sense, let's kill off Han Solo.
Yeah,
like forget the person who's actually dead, and
it's kind of ironic. You got the 3 main characters. You kill off the 2 that are actually still living.
Exactly.
Yeah. The universe is a finical thing.
I mean, I guess you don't have to pay Carrie Fisher, and they'll just CGI Leia. I don't know how intellectual property works with that.
Well, I mean, like the actor's likeness versus the character.
Yeah, like that's an interesting debate. Like, when is it?
Like those Brisk commercials?
Yeah, with Rocky. Oh, I'm fine, Mickey.
We'll just give you something to drink.
Oh, what a classic! That was so good.
Well, that was the new Elvis or something.
I think there was an Elvis
That's the
one.
one I remember. I don't remember the Rocky one.
Yeah, I only remember the Rocky one.
Yeah. Plus, anytime to break out the Stallone.
Yeah.
It's like
any excuse.
Anytime, of course, right? It's Italian Stallion.
Yeah, the one and only.
Wow.
Surprised Disney doesn't own that. Just pump out 60 more Rocky films.
No, he's doing that on his own.
Yeah, good for him.
That and the Expendables.
Fight the tyrant of Disney.
Well, don't forget that there's a vote coming in mid-July, I think, over their potential purchase of Fox.
Oh God!
So if that goes through, and I think the Justice Department in the States, if they get that, so they'll get all their characters back.
I swear, like
the Submariner.
It's gonna be the year's gonna be 2035, and Disney's gonna be the goddamn government. I swear. Mickey Mouse coming to your house, collecting taxes. The IRS.
Just picture Mickey Mouse and 2 goons show up and
start collecting
your property taxes. Just taking you out of your knees.
Yeah, it's not even a democracy; it's just a pure dictatorship.
If they take over Canada, the leaf is just replaced with one of his gloves.
Yeah. In Mickey we trust.
That's right. In the mouse. Okay. You wanted to buy apps on the iStore, the App Store?
I'd be Android. I don't think I've bought apps in a while. Yeah, I used to be an iPhone guy. I stopped. I don't think I've bought an app in a while.
You're just rebelling now, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm not. I'm old.
Screw the mouse. Screw Apple.
Yeah, I'm 30 years old. the fuck am I gonna do with Fruit Ninja, or Candy Crush? Like,
Is that still around? Candy Crush? I don't know anyone who's.
oh yeah,
That's like Farmville.
I've seen like a few people that still rip that stuff.
Still
Clash
holding
of Clans.
Some people just not gonna let that guy die. And Angry Birds.
Angry Birds, I think, is still a thing.
No, they gotta bring back balloons, and not the balloons tower defense that you see.
Actual balloons. That was
OG balloons.
But that was like before apps. Like we were running that in friggin' on the actual desktop.
That's when people trusted Flash.
Yeah, back when Flash was trustworthy.
Yeah, not before this HTML5 shit.
Yeah, those were good days.
Yeah. But there's this developers union, which are not developers at all, or a union, but they're advocating that specifically the article I read was about iOS, but to have all apps be free trials, like all paid apps be free trials, not to have the.
So you like wouldn't pay for like whatever a week, let's say.
Yeah, like right now the only trial apps are ones that offer subscription. So I guess like a Netflix or.
Right.
But like if you have like a $6.99 game, that you would have the ability to do it as a free trial, like a demo, rather than have to pony up the $7.
We used to do that back in the day with like software games. We'd get the disc and a box of cereal, and we'd play the 2 levels that we were allowed to play, and then you'd never buy the game because you didn't know where to find it.
Just Rocket Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Yeah, or Monopoly with like Boardwalk Locked.
Yeah, or Roller Coaster Tycoon.
Yeah, with the 1 level.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
All cereal does is take out the sugar and artificial flavors.
What kind of world do we live in?
Now, there's a good time when we had Target. Like, you can go and you can get your Fruity Pebbles or your Count Chocula, and then those bastards went bankrupt, and now you're stuck with Total and All Brand.
Whole Foods. Vector.
I've never been to Whole Foods.
I don't think I have either. I don't either.
I don't like tuna.
But I mean, you
have nowhere to go with that one.
Yeah. Like I'm still a single guy who needs to relatively take care of himself from time and time again, and I can't live off of Fruity Pebbles and disappointment.
The disappointment stays, though.
Yeah.
Fruity Pebbles will swap out with like
the only thing I can take off the shelf.
Ice-A-Roni or something.
Yeah.
Since you are the San Francisco 49er fan.
I didn't know about the branding issues with the podcast, but I figured I'd wear it today. I went super casual today. I'm wearing a old Rona t-shirt and my hat.
Did you buy that Rona t-shirt, or did you work at Rona?
I definitely didn't work at Rona, so it's kind of a mystery as to where I got it. It's actually like one of my favorite shirts. I can't explain
there
why.
Looking for a closet rod.
Came out with a shirt.
Met some girl. You went to the employee lounge.
Took a shirt. Stole it.
Didn't do anything with the girl. She took the shirt off. You bailed.
Yeah.
Like, I like that shirt. It looks like it's a medium.
Yeah.
I think it might fit me.
Medium. That's generous. That's the nicest thing you've ever said.
Yeah, I think that's all I got for pleasantries.
Yeah. No, that's good. It's nice to get one every 10 years. Save the next one.
Well, I think I've known you for 13 years, so
yeah, that's crazy.
I probably owe you 2.
Oh wow. Hold on to them.
Put that in my back pocket. Next episode.
Yeah.
Next time Vishal bails on us for volleyball.
Don't spend it all in one place.
No, I guess spread that around.
Yeah.
Play
Exactly.
the different tables.
Yeah.
You seen the trailer for the Happy Time Murders?
I have. I think I watched it on mute though, so I didn't get the whole context.
How does one watch a Red Band trailer on mute? That's the whole point of Red Band, is to hear the swearing.
I think I was at work, and
wait a minute. Were
Yeah.
you not working at work?
I think there was a time. I think I was officially on break if my managers are watching. But I think I checked it out and I kind of saw a little bit of it, and I think it's directed by the actual person who did the Muppets.
Jim Henson's son. Yeah,
that's pretty cool. Yeah, I would go. I don't know if I'd go see it. I'd probably watch it.
There was a lawsuit brought on by Sesame Street Workshop.
Makes sense. I thought it didn't Sesame Street derive from the Muppets, or is that the other way around?
Yeah, the whole lawsuit was about the tagline. Like the thing in the trailer, also in the poster, there's a line that says like "No Sesame, all street." Like that's their branding for it.
Yeah, I could see that being a problem.
So they went to court. The judge dismissed it, which I fully. My thing is like this is a movie that's, you know, it's like I said, the trailer came out. It's a red band trailer, so kids can't watch or shouldn't be watching it.
Yeah.
So the only people that would make any correlation between this movie and Sesame Street would be parents,
or
and we're smart enough to know. However,
are we though?
Well, yeah. However, when anytime like this news story was being brought on, and I saw it on TV, my little guy was pointing TV, going, "Oh, where's Elmo?" So I guess in some respects they have some points to be made about that, but again, like when it's something that's not advertised for kids, not going to be promoted during any kids programming, to say that it's going to, you know, tarnish their brand is kind of ridiculous, personally.
Yeah, I think it's safe. I think Sesame Street has been around a long time and has survived a lot of parody throughout the years that I think even kids, you know, I don't know if super young kids did, but like maybe kids as they get into like their 8 or 9s, let's say, got exposed to. I think like we all saw the random like clips growing up, or like the MP3 jokes, all that. Once we got a little bit older, and I think it survived all that. Like it's still here. So I don't know why this would be any different, especially since it's not like Sesame Street specific and it's more Muppet specific.
Yeah, that's true. And the ironic thing of all this is that Sesame Street is now on HBO.
Like exclusively?
It airs on HBO, and I think they have a deal for it to still
be on PBS.
Delayed viewing on PBS. Yeah,
for viewers like me.
Just like lobbed it up and over the wall. You hit that one. Wow.
For the fence.
I don't think we should continue anymore. That's the way you end it.
I'm earning my stay, man. I want this chair again.
Vishal who?
Yeah. That's what you get for playing volleyball.
Vishal with him.
Ooh. It's 2 for
stretch.
2. Yeah.
Stretch. That's a stretch.
I'll give it to you.
It's there. That returning the generosity there.
Exactly.
All right. You have anything you want to plug while you're here? Your book?
Nah, I talk too much. I'll get into stuff that this podcast shouldn't get into. That's the After Dark special. Right. That will come at some point.
Open closet.
The open closet. What's behind the podcast?
Yeah, get behind the laughter or music or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, soon we'll do it. Once we gain enough popularity, you know, we'll do some behind the scenes.
We're not popular now. We have ones of listeners.
Double digit views.
Okay, we'll say 10s. We'll give it to you. All right.
I don't know. We're gonna have to be more edgy in the later episodes.
That's right. We're gonna have to say politically incorrect things.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll send out a few tweets later.
Please do.
Yeah.
Okay. So that is Open Caller for this week for our very special guest co-host Ryan Karkner and myself. Keep it casual.